Am I the a-hole for flipping out on my fiancé for canceling all the vegan food options from our wedding food menu behind my back? Original post. My fiancé, 31 male, and I, 25 female, are getting married soon. There wasn't much that we disagreed on during the wedding planning, except for food. Me and my family are vegans, and there's so many reasons why we chose this lifestyle. And one of them being that we have a history of health issues. My fiancé and his family are the complete opposite. They're hardcore meat eaters, which is fine by me, obviously. However, when deciding on the wedding food menu, I wanted to add 4 to 5 vegan options. My fiancé and his mom objected, saying it was a waste of money over food that isn't real food. They also argued that this would be offensive for their guests, and suggested my vegan options just be the good old salads and appetizers. His mom wanted cupcakes. Lol. I said no, because for one, it's me and my family who's paying, and two, I want to make my guests feel welcome and not be treated as second-class citizens by just being served salad. My fiancé made a face and said, "Isn't that what vegans eat?" I refused to argue about it and said it was final. The other day, I found out that he had canceled all the vegan options and took them off the menu completely and behind my back. I was seething. I called him at work, but he kept hanging up on me. So I went straight to his workplace and confronted him there and just flipped out on him. He was stunned to see me. He at first said it was his mom's idea, then told me to go home because I was making a scene at the office. The fight continued at home, and he defended himself by saying that I sort of made him resort to doing this, after I kept brushing off his thoughts and input and refusing to accommodate his family. But there were plenty of meat options. Why can't I get 4 to 5 vegan options when I'm paying for it? He yelled that it was his wedding too, not my family's. My family said it was fine and they'll figure it out, and told me to let it go, but I refused. Am I the a-hole for putting my foot down on this? Now for the top comments before reading the update. Not the a-hole, and for the love of God, do not marry this man. I'm on my knees begging her to see the giant red flag. Yes, marinara flags all over. Good thing they're vegan. I mean, it's like they're militantly meat-focused. My family and I all love meat. We come from a large Texan family after all. But we've never refused to accommodate a guest. And plenty of the stuff we make for ourselves was already vegan before we ever even worried about it. It's not really about the meat. It's about control. Bingo. If this marriage happens, OP will be back here in less than a year complaining about how dear husband puts his mom ahead of her. I hope you are okay with mother-in-law in the delivery room when you have children. Not the a-hole, but this is about more than a menu. Not the a-hole. So he, 1, has no clue what vegans actually eat, and no interest in learning. 2, believes having food for your family is offensive to theirs, while having no food for your family is perfectly fine. 3, doesn't respect your inputs and your money. 4, makes decisions about matters important to you behind your back. 5, either can't stand up to his mom or uses her as a scapegoat. That's a lot of things to be really angry about. Why are you marrying this guy again? If she marries this guy, she'll end up looking back at this moment realizing it should have been her sign to run. If she married this guy, she'll find a lot of the vegan food she keeps at house suddenly goes missing, and he'll start substituting meat in her meals without her knowledge to show how this really isn't a big deal. Not the a-hole. Are you sure you want to marry this man and his family? They have no respect at all for you and yours. Frankly, I have no idea why his mom feels so strongly about getting involved. I only included her in the wedding planning only because I respect her, but I guess it's like they say, give an inch and they'll take a mile. This isn't going to be the only thing in your marriage you will feel the need to get involved in. It doesn't just happen at the wedding. Additionally, your husband has made it clear that he's going to always side with his mother and not stand up for you, which he should do. Now for the update. So his mom messaged me earlier to try to get me to listen to what she had to say after I kept ignoring her phone calls. She spent long walls of text just to address what I did at her son's workplace, calling it all kinds of stuff, from immature to unhinged. She then went to explain how she's noticed that me and my family kept acting dismissive of her son's input and contributions to the wedding. She said that she noticed my behavior towards him and her entire family, and wanted to speak up earlier but didn't, and try to keep the peace. She then went on to address the food menu issue, and denied her involvement in the cancellation of the vegan option, but that didn't mean she doesn't support her son's decision. Moreover, she thought it was so responsible for him to make that move, because of my continual refusal to see how this stuff is waste of money. She also pointed out how I kept saying I paid for it and said that technically this isn't just my money, it's mine and his, because we're getting married, and she suggested I wisen up and get rid of my money I paid for it mentality. She finally mentioned how bad this whole situation is making me look and said that she and her son had already offered a number of compromises that I chose to brush off and decided to make it my weird hill to die on. She said that not only her son is upset, but she and the family are as well after hearing about it, and suggested I just agree on their compromise and be done with it. This angered me beyond belief. I responded by letting her know that I'm still standing my ground on this, even if I'll have to call the whole wedding off because of it. Because honestly, this is just ridiculous. It is. My mom and dad, they don't even know what to say anymore. Apparently, my fiancé saw my response to her. He's with her and is now trying to call me. But right now, I'm waiting on him to get home and see if he's still insisting on the stance he took. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for giving my brother-in-law a parenting book for his birthday and embarrassing in front of everybody? So to start, let me preface this by saying that my sister has been married to Hank for over 6 years. They have 2 kids and another one on the way. I visit her almost daily, and I noticed that my brother-in-law does little to nothing around the house, or even childcare. To give some examples, one time my nephew fell off the stairs and didn't need a hospital, but needed immediate care from one of the parents. My sister was literally stuck helping my niece out of the barn, and brother-in-law just sat in front of the TV shrugging it off. I was stunned that I had to go help my nephew out. Not just that, but even now that my sister is 7 months pregnant, he keeps making her lift heavy things, run after the kids, bathe them, and cook for them. He claims he's not usually this unavailable, but since it's football season, then he needs to catch up on all the games. I was getting irritated of him, especially after he ruined my wife's first ever pregnancy announcement by asking my wife if she was sure I will be a decent father. SMH. His birthday was a couple of days ago. I was going from one store to another not knowing what I should get him. Then I found something that I thought would be beneficial for him. My wife and I arrived to my sister's house and had dinner. Brother-in-law didn't stop nagging my wife about a pregnancy, saying that there's 80% chance I'll turn out to be a deadbeat dad. I couldn't take it, and when it was time for gifts, I got up, handed him a book on parenting and said, "Here, I found this amazing book called The Gift of Failure. It's about parenting. Strange concept, I know, but I figured you'd benefit from it, especially with a 3rd kid on the way." He was absolutely speechless. Everybody was staring at him, and my wife and mom laughed. He just gave me a look, then stormed off upstairs. My sister ran after him, then came back later saying he's calmed down after he turned the TV on a football game. He sent me an email later saying I embarrassed and mocked him in front of everybody, and demanded I apologize publicly just like I humiliated him publicly. My dad thinks I went a bit too far here too. Was I the a-hole? Now for the comments. My sister ran after him, then came back later saying he's calmed down after she turned the TV on a football game. She has to stave off his tantrums with distraction, like a toddler? Definitely not the a-hole. He needs a wake-up call. She might need a wake-up call too. The way he is acting makes it so she has 3 soon-to-be 4 children to take care of. I hope she starts to realize that and decides whether she wants to be a mom/wife to an adult. Okay, this is why we really need a justified a-hole vote. Like, were you an a-hole? Yeah, of course. But was it called for? Yes, of course as well. That's hilarious, to be honest. I'm so sorry for your sister, though. I agree. This is definitely a justified a-hole situation. And it sounds like something I would have done. So a hearty well done to OP. Just make sure, OP, you take care of your sister. She needs someone to look after her with 3 children and a 4th on the way. He calmed down after she put a football game on the TV. That's what you do with toddlers. Your brother is a toddler, and his wife is his mommy taking care of him. He is a crappy dad and has the audacity to criticize you before even having the chance to see how you parent. You could do the bare minimum and still be a better parent than him at this rate. It's absurd. I hope his wife leaves him because she deserves an actual partner, not another child. Haha, exactly. When she said that, I was like, for real? I almost bursted into laughter, but tried so hard not to because of how tense the situation was. So I didn't want to add to that, you know? It may be time to have a serious conversation with your sister about her marriage. You may even want to have your parents and other close family help with the conversation. She isn't living with a partner. She's just taking care of another child. And even if she's staying for her kids, it won't help them. Kids in situations with one lazy parent and one overworked parent are shown to be just as messed up as kids from neglectful households. Studies have shown that women in your sister's situation are happier when they leave those partners and their children becoming happier and thrive more. It overall boosts their quality of life. Her husband is an anchor that's dragging the entire family down. They all deserve much better. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for telling my boyfriend he's never had to struggle a day in his life and not wanting to go back on our agreement? I recently moved into my boyfriend Sam's apartment. He comes from an upper-class family and is very well off money-wise as an attorney. I'm from a middle-class background and make nowhere near as much as him, but I'm still proud of my achievements and my struggles, which I don't think Sam always understands. I left my job a couple of weeks ago due to some issues in the workplace, and I'm not actively looking for any right now as I want a break, but I'll start looking again before the end of the year. I've told Sam all this. I do have a decent amount of savings which I use to contribute to our household. Then Sam asked me a few days ago to start contributing 50-50 to bills and other household items. It's currently distributed based on our income. I told him no, as I actually don't even have income right now. But he said that's my problem and I need to take it out of my savings. I said we agreed beforehand to split everything based on income. But he said that me not having a job is something he has to deal with, and he wants me to start paying the same as him. I said that I've worked very hard for my savings, and he can't just dictate what I do with it, and I need some left over for my own things. Sam got pretty angry and said I was selfish and mooching off him, but I said that's not the case at all. But he won't understand because he's never had to struggle a day in his life. It's been kind of tense between us because of this. I told my friend what's going on and she said it sounds like Sam's trying to financially control me. So am I the a-hole? Info, are you contributing the same amount to household bills as you were previously? Or are you paying less? Did he agree to this arrangement before you quit? I'm currently paying for groceries and such, but not for bills. He was okay with me quitting my job. I said I won't be immediately jumping into a new one as I want a break and time to relax, which he wasn't too sure about. Wow, that is way different than how you made it sound. You got him to agree to pay proportional to income, which is totally fair. You both work hard and contribute what you can. Then you said, psych, we agree proportional to income, but I'm gonna quit my job, so now you can't make me pay. You're manipulating him into making you a housewife. It is right not to put up with your crap. So no, he did not agree to these terms at all. You just thought that you're going to coast him paying all the bills. You're the a-hole. You made it sound like you were still contributing based on your previous income from savings. Instead, you agreed you'd contribute based on income, then quit your job because you thought that meant you'd have to contribute zero. You are absolutely a mooch and taking advantage of him, and he's right to tell you he won't put up with it. He's realized that you don't intend to contribute proportionally, so much as use his wealth as an excuse to do nothing. Oh wow. The post is written in such a way that I definitely thought she kept paying the same she did with her salary but with her savings instead. Complete your a-hole. Yep, I misunderstood when I first read it too. Opie makes it sound like she's still contributing as much as she was beforehand. Taking a few weeks off is one thing. Taking a few months is messed up. I'm guessing that's the boyfriend's issue too. You're the a-hole. Y'all are dating, not married. Splitting rents based on proportional income is what you agreed to, but that was before you decided to quit your job. That was your choice. If that was going to make things hard on you financially, then you shouldn't have quit before you had another job lined up. You need to be paying exactly what you paid before you quit working. Full stop. His employment status has nothing to do with it. The amount of money he has is irrelevant, as his background and how he grew up. You are taking advantage of him. Not to mention she's already had a couple of weeks off but said she'd start looking forward the end of the year. We are only just in August. I think if she was being bullied / stressed in her job, she would have mentioned it for sympathy / explain why she doesn't want to go back. So I wouldn't be surprised if the work issues are her fault. I started looking for work months before I finished a degree, and it took ages, depending on how long a job is open for. Interview process, if there are more than one especially, and then starting the job. Provided she gets the first one she applies for, it could well be next year before she's contributing her normal amount. That's another if she gets a job paying the same as before. Sounds like she moved in and then decided to quit, hoping he won't kick her out. She's just a leech and looking for her meal ticket. Definitely you're the a-hole.